Yes, yes. What's going on, everyone? Running about 2 minutes late. Yup. But I'm here. I'm here. Ready to get down with these credit questions. I had some good responses, and what actually prompted me to um, jump on here and do this episode was a good friend of mine actually reached out to me and wanted to know some specifics about how can they get started. And like a lot of you guys, even myself, you got to start from somewhere. Um, you got to develop a pattern about yourself and about your business. Just like with the personal credit in the business world, you kind of got to do the same thing. You got to know where to start from, and a lot of people are so hesitant on starting because they don't know where to start. So I thought that this would be a good segue into this episode, all these questions that I'm getting about where do I start? Where do I start? What would be better, a small business loan or taking out a personal loan? Where do I start? That was the major question. So I decided to do episode 4, establish business credit in 30 days with these 5 vendors. Now, there are so many vendors out there. I want you guys to keep in mind the ones that I'm going to be going over today. They're just they're just examples. There's so many companies out there that do net 30 accounts, startup credit lines, for startup companies and stuff like that. So I'm pointing you guys in the right direction. It's really up to you to do that digging. All right. So again, it's 6:30. I want to welcome everyone to Credit Questions. If you have any questions, just ask. Does not have to be directly related to the things that we're discussing today when it comes to business credit and 5 vendor trade lines. Any credit question will do. All right. So jumping into it, I'm going to go first with Uline. Uline is a very common name. My mother has books, her friends have books, a couple of friends of mine have books. You get them in the mail, but you really don't know exactly how to use them. You think that you're just ordering from them, it's going to establish some type of business credit. There's a certain way to go about doing certain things. Now, Uline is a very popular name brand again, and I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to do it. Okay. Now, first and foremost, I'm always going to post their contact information. Okay. And if you are looking at what I'm looking at, you're going to see the 1-800 number, the website, www.uline.com. Now, this is really important when it comes to the vendor trade lines, especially the first 3 to 5 vendor trade lines. You have to understand when you're dealing business and you're trying to create a business portfolio with Dun& and Bradstreet, you want to have at least 3 business trade lines. And trade lines are any credit line that's reporting to the top three business reporting bureaus. Okay, so it's kind of similar to what's going on in the on the personal side, but you have a different entity called Dun& and Bradstreet. Now, if you see here, reports to is going to be very important. But there's first of all, there's 3 business bureau reporting agencies, okay, for business credit. One is Dun& and Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. Yes, Experian and Equifax, they do report business trade lines, but on the business side, okay? So that's something that you're going to have to do some digging. Again, I just want to point you guys in the right direction and answer any questions that you guys might have. So when it says reports to, you see the Dun& and Bradstreet and the Experian. Now, for each time a trade line reports to a bureau, it's called an experience. So you want to have as many experiences as you can. This is how you unlock all the credit, okay? Business credit grows 10 times faster than personal credit, so it's judged differently, it's formatted differently, okay? It's evaluated differently. So on the personal side, where you have the pie, when it has the different breakdowns of the 30 to 35 to 15 10 and all this other stuff, it's not like that on the business side, okay? Your payback score, and that's a whole nother slide. I just want to introduce you to this. On a whole nother side, Dun& and Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax, they judge different when it comes to business credit. It's called the Paydex score. And we'll actually go into that a little bit later. I want to go through these in 30 minutes. Again, guys, if you have any questions, you can email me later. You have my email right there going across the screen, gregson@cmdsolutionsgroup.com. I do get a lot of responses after the fact, but that's okay. Okay, so the description of what Uline is, and a lot of people ask, what is Uline? I see the books all the time, but what do they do? Well, the description is here. Uline is a leading distributor of shipping industrial and packaging materials, industrial and janitorial products. 99.5% of Uline's orders ship in the same day with no back orders. Now, understand this. To establish your business credit, you might do business with businesses that you don't necessarily do business with. Like Uline, you might not necessarily need or have been doing business with Uline, but again, this is all to get in good favor with the Paydex system and get an 80 to 100 Paydex score. When you score 80 and above, it unlocks a lot of business credit, a lot of growth potential. So understand that, okay? You might not necessarily need a whole bunch of cleaning supplies, but it's a good idea to start with a vendor credit because that's the first step to establishing your business portfolio with Dun & Bradstreet. Now, to qualify, there are a couple of different steps when it comes to qualifying. Majority of the time, they're all going to be the same. Your entity has to be in good standing with the Secretary of State. That's your LLC. Your EIN, okay, with IRS, that's exactly where you actually go to file your EIN. Your business address matching everywhere. Now, this is the most important step that I can't beat into anyone's head more than it should be. You have to understand your business address is the most important step in establishing your business. So either a brick and mortar or a virtual office, you have to make sure that those addresses are on every single piece of documentation that your business has. It's called congruency. If not, when you go to apply for credit, they're going to look at this and say, well, it doesn't match. Your website address doesn't match, your LLC, your bank accounts. So to them, it's called fraudulent. So you have to really pay attention to that and make sure that your business address is on every single piece of paper that you have. And then your Dun & Bradstreet number. Now, Dun & Bradstreet issues you numbers once you register with them. They're free. Now, Dun & Bradstreet is going to be calling and try to offer you services. You don't necessarily need those services. Just make sure that you follow the steps to get issued a number. Once they call, you can that they're offering, you can do on your own. You don't necessarily need to spend $200, $300, $400, $500 on their credit monitoring products. Okay, so be careful of that. If you're new in the industry and you don't know those necessary steps when it comes to Dun & Bradstreet, you can fall victim. And I don't want to say victim, it's just that they have a job. They're salespeople. You just don't necessarily need those services. Now, business license is applicable. A lot of industries need business licenses, some don't. Okay, so if you need a business license, I would advise you to go get it because it makes yourself more marketable. That's really all it. It just makes yourself more marketable and the risk of fraud goes down. And creditors are really big on fraud. That's why your virtual office, your EIN, your 1-800 number, your 411, all these things have to be taken care of in the beginning for your credibility, for your congruency, so you're not looked upon as fraud, okay? Now, bank accounts have to be in good standing. All to qualify with Uline, it's just basics. It's just the basics that you have to qualify to get. You know, your bank accounts, your 401 listing, all of these on the first steps in establishing your business. But Uline is a great product to have. Now, to apply, you're going to need to create an account with them. Okay, which is all right because you want to sometimes automatically fill. You don't want to spend so many hours just filling in the same information. So when you're going from one vendor to a next vendor, it's kind of good. Like with Google, they remember your passwords and your usernames and stuff like that. It's really good. So each business that you do business with, as far as vendors are concerned, you're going to have to set up some type of business account. At least it makes it easier on you. Okay. So now a net 30 account. Now I kind of explained a little bit. I touched on this a little bit in videos, but this Your net 30 accounts, if you ever see net 30, that just means if you're going to take out a line of credit, you have to pay it back in 30 days in full. So if you see net, that means pay back in full. Whatever that number is, you have to pay back in full. So if you are taking out a net 7, whatever you take out, you have to pay back, or whatever you utilize, you have to pay back in 7 days. Net 30, 30 days, 60, 90, so forth and so on. And we do have 45 days, 20 days, 28 days. It really all depends. You're going to have to ask those questions when you actually call that company. So again, I want to give you the roadmap. So the terms for Uline is a net 30. Whatever you utilize, you're going to have to pay it back in 30 days. Now, the next I'd like to introduce is Granger. Granger is a great place if you do a lot of outdoors work, heavy machinery work, something like that. Really good with utility stuff. I'm going to be posting their information again. You see the 1-800 number, the www.granger.com. Again, you're going to see where it reports to. The systems that I'm a part of, we know the underwriting, we know where it reports to, so that it takes the guessing game out. So it reports to Dun & Bradstreet. Okay, now by it reporting only to Dun & Bradstreet, you know that it's only one experience or one activity. In the business world, the more activity, the better. So when you're applying, it's really important that you ask the right questions. Hello, do you report to Dun & Bradstreet, or do you issue net 30 accounts? You want to ask those questions before just, opening up lines of credit that really don't help build your portfolio, because not every company, reports to Experian or Equifax or Dun & Bradstreet. You have to make sure of that. If you have any questions about that, again, this is credit questions. Hop on in, throw your questions at me. I'll be more than happy to answer. Now, to qualify, again, it's the same list. There's really not that much deviation from that because it's so vital. It's so important to your business. If one or two of these things are off and they don't match, you're going to get kicked back out. I'm not going to say you're going to get denied, but at the end of the day, it's going to be harder. You're just creating more hurdles for yourself. So again, your LLC, the Secretary of State, EIN, business address has to match everywhere. The Bradstreet number. All of this is really the same. Okay. Now, if a business doesn't have established credit, they will require additional documents like accounts payable, income statements, balance sheets, etc. Now, you actually might have to put your social security number for verification purposes. But because this is business, it's not going to be the determinant of if they're going to extend credit to you or not. But they do need to verify. So if numbers don't match, if addresses don't match, they're going to want additional information or just deny you outright. So you want to make sure that your congruency is there. Applying should be very, very easy. You apply online or over the phone. They have net 30, net 60, net 90. Again, if you see that word net, just keep in your head that it's paying full by that number. So 30, 60, 90 days. Next up is WEX. This is really interesting to me because I have a lot of friends who are truckers, especially in the Georgia area. A lot of my friends have trucks. And one of my signees, one of my good friends, believe in it so much. He's like, you know what? I really like this product. He signed up with me the other day because he saw the value of what I'm teaching, and it can help him, stop using his funds. You have to understand that personal finances are not designed for business production. So establishing strong business credit is the way to protect not just your assets, but from going crazy and to stress out. How many of us entrepreneurs, small business owners, and we go broke funding our business, funding our dreams? Well, you have to understand that's why business credit was established, is for you to protect your assets and not go crazy. Again, here's the 1-800 number. Here's the website. I hope you guys can log on later, watch this video, because these top 5 vendors will get you to where you need to go when establishing business credit and establishing a strong payback score. Payback score we'll get into later. Just understand that your FICO score is for your personal credit. Your payback score is for your business credit. So here's the description. Rights Express, or it's called WEX, but WEX, Rights Express card offers universal fleet cards, heavy truck cards, and universally accepted business fleet cards designed with features that support the small business, including a reward program. This is fantastic for individuals who are getting into the trucking industry or who are already established in the trucking industry and they're looking to ease some of that stress up because WEX has a lot of strong it has a strong reputation in the industry when it comes to fleet accounts. Okay, if you're going hauling lumber from Maine to California, you know the wear and tear that goes on your rigs. This is a great first step to establishing business credit so you don't have to pay for straps and tarps and gas and spare tires and everything else that could and will go wrong on your rig. Who does it report to? Dun& Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. Right there, that's telling you that's 3 experiences. Okay. Now, the reason we ask or tell you you should have 5 starting out, 5 trade lines, vendor trade lines, is because not every single vendor is going to report to the same place. And the more experiences, the better. So that's something to really get a hold of. All right. Now, to qualifying again is the same thing. It just might have a little variation of it. As you see here, the SS is required for informational purposes. Okay. If concerned, it will pull your personal credit. Please talk to their credit department before applying. Again, the more congruent you are, if every virtual brick and mortar, your websites are very, very big. I know people who are in the trucking industry and they don't have a website yet. They might have good trade lines, but you don't have a website. So if you're trying to free all that credit up to free your personal expenses, you need a website. You need a lot in the beginning and then build, and it gets easier. The more credit you use, the more it actually unlocks. Okay. Now, if not approved based on business credit history, if you don't have a long line of history, or been in business less than a year, then a 500 deposit is needed or a personal guarantee. Now, the reason I went with Wix is because it gives a great example. A lot of us haven't been in business a whole year. So it's really hard to find where to get business credit. If you happen to apply for Wix, understand that you might have to have a 500 deposit. You might have to issue them or give them your social security number. There are exceptions to the rule, but again, if your congruency is there, your LLC, your brick and mortar or virtual office, your bank accounts, your 1-800 number, your phone, if everything is in place the way it's supposed to, there's less hurdles and you're not looked upon as being fraudulent. So there's going to be more ease and more openness when it comes to credit. Now, these are the special conditions. Please keep in mind before applying for multiple accounts with WEX Fleet Card, please make sure to have enough time in between applying so they don't red flag you as being fraudulent. Again, make sure that your congruency is there. List 1 through 8, I believe. And give yourself enough time when it comes to this. But again, you have 5, right? We're aiming for 5 in the beginning, in the very beginning, when you're trying to establish your business and business credit. Just give yourself enough time in between. Now, to apply, you can apply over the phone or online. Okay. Here are the terms. Now, get this. You have a net 15, so whatever you use or whatever they issue you when it comes to credit, you have to pay it back in 15 days. Well, in 15 days, if you pay that back on time, you can maintain an 80 payback score, and we'll have another video about that. So 1526. Now the 26 is revolving. Okay, revolving is different than vendor accounts. Okay, vendor accounts are only credits that you can use with that specific vendor. So if it's Wix or Home Depot or Uline or Quail, you only can use that credit there. Revolving, you can use it wherever MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express is taken. So that's a big difference. But Wix is a really good one. And I really like the fact that I can point out to you that if you don't have your congruency, or if you haven't been in business for more than a year, there might be a deposit or a credit check or a personal guarantee. And a personal guarantee is basically you giving them your social security number, them pulling your credit to evaluate that and judge your personal credit. So if anything goes wrong, you can get sued. That's why insurances are very important. Well, next up is Quail, and we're almost done. Again, here's the 1-800 number. It reports to Dun& Bradstreet. $50 minimum payment to report, meaning that you have to utilize, with all of them, really, you have to utilize at least $50. So when you go to their website or you order from their pamphlets, their booklets, you have to utilize at least $50. So on my online classes, I let people know, hey, listen, $50 minimum, you have 5 of them, that's $250 at least for the first 30 days. Once you pay that off, you can take it out again, or it's really up to you. But to establish long history, a good paydex score, take it out 2-3 times if possible, because by the end of 6 months, you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed on how much credit you can actually unlock. Now, the little description about Quail, sells office supplies, cleaning supplies, packing and shipping supplies, school supplies, printing supplies, and more. From filing and storage and handheld computers, Quail has a wide range of discounted top name brand products. Okay. Now, Quail is a really good one in the industry because it's pretty fast and reports, I think 30 days. Some report 30 to 60 days, but I think Quail gets it in 30 days. So this is a real good one to have. Just make sure that, again, to qualify, you have everything that you're supposed to have off rip. If you establish yourself from the beginning, like how you're supposed to, you're really not going to get denied. It's going to be very, very simple, and it's going to be very, very fast to establish these lines of credit over a 2-3 month span. That's why business credit, it grows so fast. It actually grows 10 times faster than personal credit. So again, you have the whole list here. New businesses with no credit history may need to prepay purchases until net 30 is approved. Now, I put this here to point out to you guys that even if you try to establish a net 30 the first time and you get denied, you need to apply again. Just apply and keep applying until you actually get it, or a purchase once or twice, you pay it off. Rapport with them. Very important. Some people just don't issue you credit just because you look good. Okay. They kind of want to know you a little bit. They kind of want you to have some skin in the game. Now, here are the special instructions. If not given a net 30, they will ask you to do a prepaid order of $100. Normally, any prepaid order don't report, but you would need them to have given you a net 30 account. So basically, guys, again, if you've been in business less than a year, if you are not congruent the way you're supposed to, if there's any type of hiccup along the way of them issuing you credit, you're going to need to pay first, prepay first. So, but Quail is really good. So if you have to jump through that hurdle, it's just something that you're going to have to do. Again, it's going to help you in the long run. Sometimes an order is shipped and customer thinks they are approved and may not be. Takes credit department approximately 3 hours to process application. That's very, very important. Just don't jump the gun. You always want to check up on yourself, basically. This is how to apply online or over the phone. And again, net, pay in full in 30 days. Now we have Crown. Crown is, again, office supplies. And the reason that these are my top 5 picks is because they issue you credit where there is none. Okay, that's very, very important to a lot of people. They issue you credit where there is none. So it's really important that you take your time and look around instead of jumping the gun and just getting involved with a business and taking out a line of credit with a business that you'll sink really quickly. You put too much on your plate. Crown is one of the individuals, and Quail and all of these, they actually issue you credit where there is none. You just have to make sure that you're congruent and all your paperwork adds up. Now, here's the 307-317-7018. That's their direct line. You have their website right there. Again, it reports to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. These are the 3 biggest business credit reporting agencies. Okay, so with these 3, you have 3 trade experiences. Again, the more trade experiences, the better. And the description of Crown offers a variety of office supplies and takes helping clients seriously. They state just starting your business or maybe have an existing business, but you have a question regarding office supplies. So again, they issue you credit where there is none. So this is something that you guys should really jump on if you're really just starting. I wouldn't worry about if you haven't been in business less than a year with Crown. Now, here are the special instructions. There is a $99 annual fee. Though they do report that fee to the business credit bureaus for their purchases, to report needs to be a minimum of $30. So they're going to charge you a $99 fee, but that fee is going to be reported to who? Dun& Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. And then your purchase has to be a minimum of 30, not 50. So they have they have a lot more legal wiggle room when it comes to issuing credit. All right. Again, this is one that you really, really want to jump on if you're just starting out. To qualify, this is what you need to qualify. It's the same thing. The same thing. Look at the list to qualify. It's the same thing. So you should know that that's how important it is to be congruent, to making sure that every single piece of paper matches your address, your phone numbers, your 1-800 number, your 411 listing, your website. Everything has to match. And the more they match on every single thing, the more easy it is for you to get credit like this. Okay. And these are just the vendor accounts. These are not the real big boys like the Costco's and Lowe's and stuff like that. Kroger and all these other places. These are just the first 5 vendors to get you through the door so you can actually establish business credit. Okay. This is how to apply online. And again, net pay in full within 30 days. Now, guys, listen, it's been great. I like keeping this to 30 minutes. I don't see any questions yet, but that's all right. People email me all the time some questions, and that's kind of how I come up with my topics. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about Wednesday, but at the end of the day, it's going to be something good. It's going to be something that you guys can use. And I just know that you guys are out there. So, hey, listen, stay blessed, stay safe. COVID is still out there. I don't know too much about this vaccine. I'm not worried about that. I'm really worried about nothing, to tell you the truth. I'm not worried about anything because you guys are in good hands. Again, if you have any credit questions, please hit me up. Mondays, Wednesdays, you can email me. I look forward to your questions. Hey, guys, be blessed. I see you soon.